Hey guys, it's Nikki here. I'm here today to do my spoiler-free book review for my paired reviews for December, and that is Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. I'm doing the spoiler-free review today. I'm going to do a spoiler review in a couple days, and then I will do the movie next week. As many of you know, this is a classic. It's one of the first kind of like mystery / domestic thrillers. And the gist of the story is that you have this young girl who meets this enigmatic man, and after a very, very short period of time, he marries her and whisks her away to his manor, Manderley. So I sum it up as a mystery / domestic thriller with just a ridiculous amount of red flags and like toxic relationship issues. So if those are triggers for you, that's something to keep in mind here. I was kind of excited. I'd heard a few interesting things just about like the narrative choice and the choice about the main characters, so I was very excited to pick this up. And with that out of the way, I will go into my likes and dislikes here. I have 3 of each today. My first like is that I did enjoy the atmosphere of Manderley, which is the manor estate that you spend the bulk of the book at. I found it very atmospheric and gothic. It just had very creepy, dark, unreal tones that I felt really did a lot for the story for me. My second like is the mystery that kind of unfolds as we spend time at Manderley. I really enjoyed it. It made the story a lot more interesting. And then my third like was the pacing. And I know this one is going to be not a like for everybody, but I really enjoyed how slow and steady it was because it really supported that dark atmosphere. And it kept me interested in the main character and just wanting to know what was coming next. And those are my 3 likes. So I'll go on to my 3 dislikes here. I did struggle with the main character a little bit. I found her naivete and like desire to bend over backwards for her husband to be really frustrating to read, and although it made her kind of a clueless protagonist, like that just ended up being really frustrating for me. And that isn't necessarily going to be the same for everybody. Some people really like a clueless narrator where they know what's going on and she doesn't. The second negative is that I found the twist or reveal to be just a little bit unsatisfying. Like it made sense within the story and how the story was set up, but it's not one I care for. And then my third and final negative is that I wasn't crazy about the main character in terms of how like bland and cookie cutter she was. I understand the purpose is to kind of let the reader put themselves in her foot by not really strongly identifying her to make it easier for the character to do that, as well as that just being part of her personality. But I personally really struggled with it, and there were times where I would have liked a little bit more from the main character. And with that out of the way, I will jump right into kind of my character talk here. So as I mentioned, the main character is unnamed and somewhat undescribed other than being bland. And like I said, this appears to be like both her personality and to kind of try to allow the reader to put themselves in her place, but it fell a little flat for me. However, I did really enjoy the side characters. They're all weird and vague, and everybody seems to have their own motives, and nobody seems to always be telling the truth. And a lot of them are just like obsessive in these really strange ways. And I really enjoyed how much spice that added to the story. And that's kind of where I'm going to leave you here. I don't really have tons to say. This was a decent book. I'm giving it a 3.5 out of 5 stars. I overall really enjoyed myself, although there were a few things that I really struggled with the main character specifically. But the book in general, it gave you that really good sense of like impending wrongness and continuing wrongness from both the situation and the people. The casts were strange and just generally pretty off, which was really engaging for me. And it's just weird and atmospheric and dark, and if that's the kind of book you like, especially when it's paired with like a very slow, steady pace, this is definitely something to check out. And with that, I will leave you here and I will see you in the next video. Peace.